Call them wagons or estate cars, it doesn't really matter. What counts is the sad fact that a drop in global demand is speedily driving the genre that epitomizes style, space, and street cred toward extinction. Worse still, the industry has fallen concurrently into the habit of replacing every single outgoing family holdall with another anonymous SUV or crossover. Central Europe is now the last stronghold of the formerly coveted body style, which is often badged touring, T-model variant or Avant, and is typically kitted out with inspiring powertrains and lifestyle-oriented accessories. The auto industry's costly crusade from gasoline and diesel propulsion to hybrid powertrains and EVs will continue to thin the wagon ranks, but BMW for one decided to expand its offerings. The 2023 503 horsepower M3 Touring made its debut last year, and it will be followed in early 2025 by the all-new 650 horsepower PHEV M5 Touring Competition and the even brawnier 740 horsepower M5 Touring label red. Added torsional rigidity enhances the dynamic precision to the same extent it impairs the ride. What this car could really do with is the comfort plus damper setting Alpina long ago introduced across its entire model range. Hit the starter button next to the gear selector, prick your ears, allow enough time for the goose pimples to blossom and blip the throttle before sliding the lever into drive. A quarter century ago the latter move was all it took to unleash the devil inside and bring emotions to the boil, but the age of digitalisation swamps us with countless alternatives and choices. It's between these extremes that the majority appeal, minority interest touring unfolds its unique character, which is worlds apart from the oddly uninvolving RS4 and tangibly superior to the oddly artificial C63. After all, this BMW is an always active and occasionally aggressive tarmac peeler, a concise carver masterminded by algorithms that never sleep, a challenge to the driver, the elements, and ultimately its own limitations. As a result, the handling was sometimes coarse through the twisties, the inherently tenacious road holding had its electric eel moments, and the token snap oversteer at the exit was probably enhanced by the Touring's quantifiably higher center of gravity caused by its taller, longer roofline. Nuances only, for sure, and yet subjectively at least, some of that commendable coveted creaminess at the limit was lost in the translation from one body style to the other. These minor idiosyncrasies may of course be irrelevant on summer tires and dry blacktop. Despite its substantial curb weight of 1865 kg and in view of the ho-hum drag coefficient of 0.36 cd, the awesome mid-range punch and spot on gearing beamed this 5-seater with 500-liter cargo bay from 0 to 100 km/h in a launch-controlled 3.6 seconds and an equally remarkable 12.9 seconds from 0 to 200 km/h. Perhaps even more impressive is the explosive time warp 2.7 second in gear sprint from 80 to 120 km/h. For those in the front, the M3 Touring's cabin is pretty much identical to that of the latest generation M3 Saloon, which means you get a relatively simple dashboard crowned by BMW's curved display, which combines the touchscreen infotainment system with the digital instrument cluster in one broad housing. That means a dashboard with fewer buttons than before. Although the center console is still something of a maze, the inclusion of the iDrive rotary controller is welcomed for reasons we'll expand on later, but the gear lever is surrounded by buttons for the myriad settings and functions for the drive modes, parking brake, ignition, and exhaust. Fortunately, because this is the M version, BMW has made life a little easier by fitting some M-specific buttons to the steering wheel, offering drivers shortcuts to their favorite setups. These buttons also form part of the sporty interior features we've come to expect from the M3 family. You get aluminium pedals, sporty seats and carbon fiber interior trim, as well as M-specific graphics on the instrument display. A red ignition button and the special M gear lever complement the look, as do the seatbelts with BMW M's trademark pinstripes. As with the M3 competition saloon, the Touring is powered by a 3-liter straight 6-cylinder petrol engine that produces up to 503 brake horsepower, all of which goes to all 4 wheels via an 8-speed automatic gearbox. Traditionally, M3s have sent all the power to the rear wheels, but the current generation car was the first to get the option of all-wheel drive. In the spirit of extra usability, BMW has decided to give the estate version all-wheel drive as standard. That means the M3 finds it easier to find traction, and that means it can get away from the lights with laughable ease. That powertrain, working with the sticky Michelin tires, drags this 1.8-ton estate car from a standstill to 62 miles per hour in just 3.6 seconds, just a tenth of a second slower than the equivalent 4-door saloon, and 3/10 faster than the rear-wheel drive versions of the saloon. As is so often the way with fast German estates, the M3's top speed is limited to 155 miles per hour, but for an extra £2,305 BMW will sell you the M Drivers Pack. That not only pays for some driver training but also frees the M3 to hit a top speed of 180 miles per hour, albeit only after the odometer has ticked past the 2,000 kilometers mark.